simp, loser, weirdo, bozo. These are the things that most young men are today because of the type of relationship that they are in that I'm going to mention in this video. If you want to avoid being one of these things, avoid this relationship at all costs. It is the most deadly, the most toxic, and the most potent relationship that has ever existed in all of mankind. This relationship is single-handedly the cause of the decline in most young men's mental health. Do you want to know what this relationship is? Well, first, you're gonna have to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. No, but really, this topic is actually super serious and I'm gonna get right into it. The name of this relationship is called the parasocial relationship. Parasocial relationships are one-sided relationships where one person extends emotional energy, interest, and time, and the other party, the persona, is completely unaware of the other person's existence. Parasocial relationships are most common with celebrities, organizations such as sports teams or television stars. Most young people, but specifically young men today, are in parasocial relationships without even knowing it. This relationship is especially bad because it relies on the fact that we as humans are social creatures and we need one another. We just rely on people in order to feel basically just happier and feel better about ourselves and to feel more fulfilled. The issue is with these parasocial relationships, as mentioned in the definition, is that these are one-sided relationships. Why would you expend any mental energy, time, just your emotions towards someone who does not even know about your existence, let alone cares about you? These parasocial relationships are so deadly because they've trained you that you can get all of the social interaction that you think you need or think that you're getting by just sitting in your bed scrolling on your phone, when that is just not the case. They train you that you can get all of what you want, whether it be girls, whether it be friends, whether it be validation. They make you feel that you can get all of these things without ever having to leave your house or to ever do the work, when that is just not the case. You could lose your job tomorrow, or you could even die tomorrow, and these people would not even notice or blink an eye. They would continue living their day-to-day life. I'm going to go over several types of examples of these types of relationships that you right now are probably in without even knowing, and that you need to get out of immediately. Right now, you probably follow a bunch of Instagram models and baddies. You probably even follow porn stars. You probably are subscribed to OnlyFans models. Right now, as you scroll, you can have tens, if not dozens, or even hundreds of girlfriends just by scrolling and clicking buttons. Your brain cannot tell the difference as to who's real and who's not. And in these relationships, because you're probably simping, you probably like their pictures, you probably comment, you probably subscribe to their paid content. These are all examples of a parasocial relationship. And the issue is with these Instagram models or these porn stars or these OnlyFans models, the issue is that because of the content that they're releasing, more likely than not, when you consume this content, you are going to touch yourself. And after you do the act and you have a clear mind once again, you will realize just about how lonely you are. After engaging in one of these behaviors, do you ever feel good about yourself? The answer is probably not. You feel even more lonely and you crawl more into your shell than ever before. I used to be so down bad myself where I would follow these Instagram models and I would follow like dozens at a time. I don't know, in some way in the back of my subconscious brain, I thought by following them, they kind of knew of my existence, when that is just not the case. The real issue is that I knew people myself. I knew friends who would follow these pages as well. I thought I was down bad. I would see them liking every picture of theirs, and I would even see them leaving comments such as like, "Hey beautiful." If they would ask a question in their caption, they would literally answer the question. And it is very, very easy to create a parasocial relationship, only to then realize that you do not actually know these people in real life, and you're exerting all of this energy onto a person who does not even know who you are. And since we're on the topic of girls anyways, this parasocial relationship dynamic can still exist in real life with real people. So think about if you're either in high school or you're in college right now and you're just in a student environment, you've probably had a crush at one of these times, or you do right now. So if the girl that you have a crush on right now does not know who you are at all, in your free time you're stalking her social media, liking every single one of her pictures when she posts, stalking her follower account, looking at every story, sometimes liking her stories, but she has no idea who you are. That's a parasocial relationship. Expending any energy thinking about this person is still very detrimental. It's robbing you of your time, your energy, and your focus. Now, this next example that I'm going to give, I'm for sure 100% going to get a lot of hate for it, and I'm going to get comments below, and I do not really care, because these types of people who are going to leave this comment are exactly the type of people who need to consume this type of content and watch this video. But most young guys who are obsessed with sports, and to like sports and to watch sports is okay. The issue is that when you're watching specific sports, or you're watching your favorite basketball team, your favorite football team, your favorite soccer team, whatever it might be, and you're watching that every single day, you're watching your favorite team play every other day, multiple times a week, you're checking stats, you're obsessing over certain players on these teams, you do research on them, that is a parasocial relationship. I knew people that would get into such heated arguments over who's better, Michael Jordan or LeBron James. They would literally curse at each other. I knew people who would, for hours straight on group chats, would talk about who's better, Ronaldo or Messi. Adults, people over the age of 18 years old, who would be discussing two grown men as to who's better at their sport. These are people who make millions of dollars, who are the best of the best. It doesn't matter who's better. These are people who have literally practically mastered their craft, are making millions of dollars for it. We're really sitting here and discussing who's better for hours, when any of these people that you mentioned, any of these four people that you just mentioned, if you were to get hit by a car tomorrow, if you were to get shot in the head, if your mother was to be diagnosed with something, they would not be at the hospital. They would not be at the funeral helping you pay your bills, helping you pay your medical bills. So why would you even exert an ounce of mental energy towards these people? Like I said, sure, it's fine to watch sports here and there. It's entertainment at the end of the day, and I completely get it. But to know the exact stats of your favorite players, or to know the stats of every single player, and to actually have heated arguments about it, the fact that you don't even understand how insignificant you are is the actual issue with these parasocial relationships. And now, as a third example, because this is a self-improvement channel, most of you will consume content of Andrew Tate, David Goggins, even Hamza, for example, for entertainment. The more content that you watch them as entertainment, the more you are forming this parasocial relationship by just watching their content on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. You feel like just by consuming their content, your life is improving just because you're watching them. You think by somehow liking on their videos or by commenting, you are somehow getting closer to them. You hope that they'll notice, and by that is, let's say that they do notice and they like your comment. You feel when that happens, you feel like you've created a bond or a friendship with them. Once you come sense to what you're doing, you realize, whoa, I'm actually so lonely, and I actually have no real life connections or friends. All of the people that I feel like I'm associated with are behind a screen. Don't worry, that's why I'm making this video. I'm going to give a few solutions of what you can do to fix this immediately. The very first thing is that you need to delete every social media that you have for a couple of days or even a couple of weeks. This is absolutely critical. You need to just put the phone away, and you need to delete social media for at least a little while. The whole point of doing this is that it serves as a hard reset on your mind to remember and to remind yourself that there is a real life and a real world outside of this black screen, this black mirror that you have. And on top of deleting social media, whether it's for a couple of days or even a couple of weeks, when you do get back onto social media, you need to unfollow every single person that is a bad influence. Whether it be these Instagram models or baddies, or it's these OnlyFans models, or it's porn stars, whoever it is, these negative influences who are just robbing you of your attention, your energy, and your focus, you need to unfollow every single one of them. Actually, softcore porn that is being allowed to be posted onto these social media platforms, there is no benefit to following them. So as soon as you get back onto social media, you must unfollow every single one of them. The second part of this is that it's not only good enough to delete social media or to limit your time, you need to do something else that you would do in that time. Most people try to break a bad habit and just abstain from that habit. What you need to do is, in order to develop a good habit, is that you need to replace that bad one with a new one. Something needs to go into that time. Otherwise, your brain is going to be directed into the thing that it knows how to do best. The best thing that you can probably do is to really fix your mind and reset it, is to meditate and to journal. By meditating and journaling, you become present, you become conscious of your thoughts, that ADHD and like that so many thoughts swirling around at all times, which is why we kind of escape to social media in the first place, is because we don't have to think. We don't want to be alone with our thoughts. These two activities forces us to be alone with our thoughts so that we can become more comfortable with it. That is the main part of these two activities. So start meditating and journaling, both for just 10 minutes a day each. That's just 20 minutes. Trust me, you have the time. These two activities teach you how to be in silence and how to avoid stimulation for longer periods of time. And that is the key. That is everything. But the third thing that you must do, this is the harder part, is that you need to change your social circle as soon as possible, ASAP, like today. Starting right now, you need to change the people who you are in contact with and the people who you hang out with most often. If you hang out with people who are simps, if you hang out with people who are in this parasocial relationship, you need to avoid them at all costs. You might be a little bit lonely in the beginning, and that's perfectly fine. It's better to be a little bit lonely rather than to be with a negative influence. But now that you are lonely, I am not saying to go back onto your phone and to continue scrolling. That is what most people do. But you need to start making new friends and you need to start making real life connections now. I'm going to give you the advice that I've taken myself, and that's just starting small. Start as small as possible. And what I mean by that, if you really can't start a conversation, the least that you can do is that when you're walking outside or you're walking to places, make eye contact, hold eye contact with people, and just start smiling. That is it. If you ever read the book How to Make Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, I strongly suggest that you read the book, but the very first chapter is to just smile. If there's nothing else that you can do, you can at least smile with people without ever uttering a word. A smile is 2 seconds. You walk past that person, they walk past you, you'll never see them again. After that, start building on that a little bit. When you pass by someone, just say, hey, what's up? Something like, how's it going? Step 3, add a little bit more on top of that. Give them a compliment and say, I like those pants, I like those shoes, and walk by. Just add a little bit more. And from there, just start having conversations with people that you go to places most, whether it be at the gym. If you see the same people there working at the front desk, or you see the same people working out, places that you go to often, just start up with conversations with people there, because those are environments that you're used to, and those are environments that you feel comfortable in. I'll give you an example right now. Let's say you drink coffee and you go to Starbucks. You can say something along the lines of, hey, what's new for the spring summer season? They'll tell you what it is, and then you can say, are you sure I can trust you? And then just say that with a smile, and then right after say, the last time I came here for fall winter, I asked for what was new on the menu here, and they offered me a suggestion that I didn't really like. Are you sure I can trust you? And then smile again. But that's just how you have little small interactions like that throughout the day. These conversations will become a lot easier, and you'll actually start to have a real life once again. With that being said, to summarize, all of these points that I just mentioned are to train your brain to become a real person again and to start having real conversations with real people in real life. I hope you got a ton of value from this video, and as always, I wish you all the utmost success, because there is more than enough for all of us. Mwah.